Virgo, there's something ancient moving through you, a force that doesn't just want to tidy up a room, it wants to recalibrate reality. You walk into spaces and instantly feel what's off. You sense the tension behind words, the cracks beneath routines, the mess no one else even notices. But this isn't about being detail-oriented. It's about being encoded for alignment. You didn't come here to accept the world as it is. You came to fine-tune it emotionally, spiritually, energetically. That ache you feel when things are disorganized, that's not annoyance. That's a divine radar going off. And the longer you suppress it, the more out of place you feel. But when you honor it fully, unapologetically, you become the calm in the storm, the structure in the chaos, the hidden blueprint that holds everything together. The world doesn't know it yet, but it runs better when you're fully awake. Virgo, you were never meant to blend in. You were designed to upgrade the entire world around you. From the moment you were born, there was something different about the way you saw things. While others admired the surface, you were already looking deeper, seeing cracks, inconsistencies, patterns that didn't quite fit. People called you picky. Some even said you were controlling. But deep down, you knew it wasn't about control. It was about potential. You weren't trying to criticize. You were trying to elevate that urge inside you to organize, to improve, to fix what's broken. It wasn't some personality quirk. It's divine wiring. You're not here to accept things as they are. You're here to help them become what they were meant to be. What most people overlook, you spot in seconds. And that's not just talent, it's sacred responsibility. And yet, look at what the world did with that gift. From a young age, you were told to tone it down, be easier to be around, stop pointing out what's wrong, just let things be. And so, slowly, you started dimming your light. You stopped speaking up when you saw something off. You began questioning your own instincts, and somewhere along the way, you began to feel like your very essence was a burden, that the very thing you were built for was somehow too much for others to handle. But here's the truth, no one told you when you stop using your gift. The world doesn't get better. It gets messier. When you go silent, the things that only you can fix remain broken. When you hold back, excellence dies a little. You were never meant to apologize for caring. You were meant to lead by example. And because you've been carrying this gift without a manual, you've probably been using it against yourself, overanalyzing your every move, seeing imperfections in your own life and blaming yourself, feeling restless because your environment isn't aligned with your internal standards. You've turned your sacred discernment into self-judgment. And that has to stop. Virgo, your gift wasn't given to torture you. It was given to serve a higher purpose, to be the eyes that see what others can't, the hands that organize what's chaotic, the voice that speaks when things need to change. But if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life editing everyone else's story while neglecting your own. It's time you understand that this gift, this divine way of seeing, is not a curse. It's a calling. The world needs someone who refuses to settle for average, who can't walk past a misaligned picture without straightening it, who rearranges a room not for praise, but for peace. That someone is you. So, let's get honest. How many times have you walked into a room and immediately felt everything that was out of balance? How many times have you seen the solution before anyone else even noticed the problem? And how often have you silenced yourself, afraid of being too much? This is your moment to reclaim that gift, to see it not as a flaw to hide, but as a power to own. Because when you step fully into your Virgo essence, you become unstoppable. You're not just improving things, you're shifting energy. You're lifting frequencies. You're aligning the physical world with a higher order. The next time someone says you're overthinking, remember this. You're not overthinking your asterisk, seeing clearly, asterisk. You're wired for improvement, for betterment, for refinement. That doesn't make you hard to love. It makes you irreplaceable. And if someone can't handle your precision, your vision, your relentless commitment to making things better, then they're not meant to walk beside you. Because the ones who truly get you, they don't just tolerate your gift. They thrive because of it. And maybe, just maybe, that ability you've been questioning was never meant to make you fit in. It was meant to make you the blueprint. Because where others see problems, you see patterns. And where others settle, you elevate. Let's break this down. Virgo, because your gift isn't one size fits all. In fact, depending on when you were born, that divine wiring inside you takes on a slightly different flavor. And when you understand your unique version of the Virgo gift, everything clicks. If you were born between August 23rd and September 1st, your superpower is creating order out of chaos. Seriously, you walk into a messy situation, be it a cluttered room, a disorganized project, or even a group of people with no direction, and something inside you just knows what to do. It's like your mind starts mapping it out in real time. You see the blueprint while everyone else is still wondering where the tools are. You're a natural systems builder. You bring logic, structure, and flow where before there was only confusion. And the crazy part is, you often don't even realize how valuable that is, because to you, it just feels normal. But believe me, it's not. It's miraculous. Now, if you were born between September 2nd and 12th, your gift is a little more diagnostic. You're the one who spots the crack beneath the surface before it becomes a collapse, whether it's in a relationship, a business, or someone's emotional state. You can sense what's off, not just what looks wrong, but what's truly holding something back from functioning at its best. You have the eyes of a healer, the instincts of a strategist. You're not just fixing symptoms, you're finding the root. And people may not always appreciate that at first, because truth can be uncomfortable. But when your insight saves them from making a painful mistake, they'll remember who saw it coming all along. You. And if you came into the world between September 13th and 22nd, your brilliance lies in turning dreams into reality. You're the bridge between vision and execution. Others may have big ideas, but you're the one who asks, okay, how do we actually make this work? And then you do it. You take abstract, floating concepts and translate them into real-world results. You're the project finisher, the manifester, the anchor of possibility. While others lose steam or get stuck in theory, you move, you plan, you build. But here's the best part. No matter where your birthday falls, all Virgos share one powerful trait. You raise the vibration of anything you touch. Whether you're the organizer, the diagnostician, or the translator of dreams, your presence upgrades the energy in the room. You don't just help people do better, you help them become better. When you embrace the specific flavor of your gift, you stop comparing yourself to other Virgos. You realize you weren't meant to do it all. You were meant to do what only asterisk can do. And when you fully activate that, you become unstoppable. Let's talk about timing, discernment, and delivery, because even with a gift as sharp and divine as yours, Virgo, how you use it matters just as much as having it. This isn't about turning down your power. It's about using your power wisely. First, understand this: not everyone is ready to receive your insight the moment you offer it. You might walk into a room, sense what's off, and want to fix it right away. But sometimes, people need to sit with the problem a little longer. They're not ignoring you, they're just not at the same level of clarity yet. And that's okay. Part of being a Virgo master is learning when to plant seeds and when to step back. Your job isn't to force growth. Your job is to know when the soil is ready. Imagine you're in a relationship and you see exactly what dynamic isn't working. You know the pattern. You see the solution, it's crystal clear. But every time you bring it up, the other person resists. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means they're not ready. Your truth is still valid, but your power grows when you match it with patience. Sometimes the highest expression of your gift is restraint, quiet awareness, waiting with wisdom. Second, let's get something straight. Just because you can see everything that's broken doesn't mean you have to fix it all. That's how burnout happens. That's how you start to resent your gift. You end up stretching yourself thin, trying to solve problems that don't belong to you. Virgo, you were never meant to carry the weight of the world. You were meant to uplift the pieces you're called to, not everything that crosses your path. So how do you choose your battles? Easy. Ask yourself, is this something I can change? Is it worth my energy? Will it move something forward? If the answer is yes, lean in. If not, let it go. Just because something is imperfect doesn't mean it's your job to perfect it. Your gift is sacred. Protect it. Now let's talk communication, because you might have the right solution, but if it's delivered the wrong way, it gets lost. Virgo, your tone matters. The intention behind your words matters. People don't just hear what you say, they feel how you say it. So instead of leading with what's broken, start by painting a vision of what's possible. Say things like, imagine how amazing this could be if, or I see a version of this that really shines. That approach opens hearts instead of triggering defenses. It invites people into transformation instead of making them feel judged. Your ability to see potential is just as powerful as your ability to spot flaws. Use both. And finally, release the pressure to be perfect all the time. You don't have to wait until everything's flawless to move forward. Progress matters more than perfection. Start messy. Improve as you go. That's how your gift truly shines in the process. In the movement, in the evolution. Perfection isn't a moment, it's a rhythm. So take a breath. Virgo, step back. Choose your moment. Use your voice. Protect your energy. And remember, you're not here to fix everything. You're here to elevate what truly matters. Your energy is too valuable to waste on resistance. There was a woman named Elise. She was a Virgo through and through, quiet, observant, the one who always sat at the edge of the room during family gatherings, watching the details everyone else missed. She wasn't loud. She didn't dominate conversations. But she noticed everything. The way her father's breathing changed when he was stressed. The way her mother deflected certain questions. The way her siblings swept problems under the rug just to keep the peace. For years, Elise was labeled the difficult one. Not because she caused trouble, but because she pointed it out. She questioned choices. She sensed tension and named it. She asked the uncomfortable questions everyone else was too afraid to say out loud. And every time she did, they rolled their eyes, told her she was being dramatic, too sensitive, too much. Then came the Christmas her father collapsed. No one saw it coming. No one, except Elise. She had noticed the fatigue in his eyes weeks earlier, the way he held his left arm after dinner, the way he started skipping meals, sleeping more, speaking less. She had raised the alarm, quietly at first, then louder. She asked her mother to take him to the doctor. Her mother said he was just tired. She asked her siblings to help. They said she was overthinking. That night in the hospital, after the doctors stabilized him from a near-fatal heart attack, the silence in the waiting room was unbearable. No one could look Elise in the eye, not because they were angry, but because they knew she had seen it coming. She always did. Her mother came over, hands trembling, and whispered, I should have listened to you. That was the moment Elise's life changed. Not because she needed to be right, but because, for the first time, someone finally saw her gift for what it was. Not control, not criticism, but care, devotion, precision, love disguised as vigilance. Since then, Elise stopped apologizing for who she is. She still sees the cracks before they split wide open. She still speaks up, even when it's uncomfortable. But now, she speaks with the full knowing that her gift is sacred. And here's the truth. There are thousands of Virgos just like Elise. You might be one of them. Always the one who sees, who knows, who warns, who's told to be quiet until everything falls apart. Then suddenly, they come running to you. But you don't need a crisis to prove your value. Your gift doesn't need permission to be real. It already is. Use it now, while there's still time to change the ending. Months after her father recovered, Elise made some quiet changes. She started journaling again, not just about what she saw, but about how it made her feel. She rearranged her space, not for aesthetics, but to reflect the inner order she longed for. She even started consulting for local nonprofits, quietly stepping into roles where her ability to detect broken systems and offer better ones wasn't just welcomed. It was needed, and something surprising happened. People started coming to her, not just in crisis, but for wisdom. Her siblings asked her to look over important documents. Friends sought her advice before making big life decisions. They stopped calling her picky. They started calling her grounded, clear, reliable, and most importantly, trustworthy. She didn't change who she was, she just stopped shrinking. And Virgo, that's the invitation for you too. You don't have to prove yourself through pain. You don't have to wait for disaster to be heard. You can live in your knowing now. You can be the person who brings clarity before things fall apart, the one who offers peace before chaos erupts. Because when you trust your sight, others will learn to trust it too. And in a world that desperately needs clear eyes and steady hearts, you, Virgo, are the blueprint. Virgo, we need to talk about the one place you've forgotten to apply your gift, your own life. You've spent years pouring your energy into improving everything and everyone around you. You've refined systems, elevated workspaces, fixed broken dynamics, helped people reach their potential. But somewhere along the way, you forgot that you're allowed to be the masterpiece too. You're not just the builder, you're also the house. And it's time you started tending to your own foundation. When was the last time you paused and asked yourself, what about me needs improvement? What would my dream life actually look like if I applied the same care, thought, and attention that I give to others? You've been so focused on keeping other people's ships from sinking that you didn't notice your own boat starting to take on water. And it's not because you're weak or distracted, it's because your gift is naturally outward facing. You see the needs around you and respond like a healer. But now, your gift is asking to turn inward. Let's be real. Your home environment, it deserves the same sense of order you create at work. Your goals, they deserve the same strategic planning you use to help others succeed. Your health, your finances, your passions, every part of you is worthy of that Virgo touch. And here's something powerful to consider: the people who've benefited from your gift. They're watching you. They learn from your example. So when you start using your gift to build a life that actually reflects your standards, you don't just improve your world, you raise the bar for everyone else too. Let's say you've always wanted to write a book, but you keep putting it off because the conditions aren't perfect, your schedule's full, the outline's not ready. You're waiting to feel inspired. Sound familiar? That's perfectionism disguised as procrastination. But here's the truth: you don't need perfect conditions to begin. You need to begin and let your gift improve it along the way. Maybe you've been in a job where you do everything right, but you're undervalued. You stay, thinking it'll get better. but it never does. That's not loyalty, that's self-betrayal. Your gift deserves to be used in a place that honors it, that grows with it, not one that takes and takes without return. Or maybe it's your relationships. You've been holding it all together, doing the emotional labor, anticipating needs before they're spoken. But have you asked yourself what you need, Virgo? Your intuition is sharp enough to improve any connection, but it can also tell you when it's time to release one. The point is, your gift wasn't given just to serve others. It was given to create alignment. And the deepest alignment you can ever experience is when your external world reflects your internal standard. When you stop just organizing spaces and start organizing your destiny, and that's where your real power kicks in. Because when a Virgo applies their energy toward their own healing, their own elevation, their own vision, that's when magic happens. That's when the universe moves to support you. That's when doors open and synchronicities align. This is the moment. Virgo, the moment you stop apologizing for what you see, for what you know, for what you feel. The moment you realize that your discomfort in the face of mediocrity isn't a flaw, it's a divine signal. It's heaven tapping you on the shoulder saying, do something about this. You were never meant to simply observe the world. You were meant to recalibrate it. And not because you think you're better, but because your soul remembers what better actually feels like. When you walk into a room and feel that something is off, you're not imagining things. You're tuning into a frequency others haven't even discovered yet. Every time you notice that a process could be cleaner, a system more efficient, a conversation more honest, that's divine intelligence moving through you. Every time you can't rest until the details line up, until the picture is straight, until the energy feels right, that's not neurosis. That's alignment calling. And here's the truth: when you fully embrace this, when you stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, something shifts. Not just in you, but in the world around you. Because the people who once resisted your feedback, they start to rise. They evolve. Not because you forced them, but because your presence becomes a mirror. You reflect back what excellence could look like. And suddenly, settling is no longer an option for them either. You don't just change rooms, you change people. You change timelines. You rewire atmospheres. And all of that begins the moment you decide to honor what you've been given. So yes, Virgo, the weight you've carried, it was heavy for a reason. The vision you've held, it's rare for a reason. You've always felt a little out of place in a world that moves too fast, too messy, too careless. But maybe that's because you were never supposed to follow the current. You were meant to reroute the river. This is your permission slip to stop doubting and start leading. You don't need more confirmation. You need to trust that your clarity is already the confirmation. Your gift isn't here to make people like you, it's here to change the world. Think back, Virgo, to the times when you held back your insight because you didn't want to rock the boat, to the moments when you knew something was broken, but stayed silent out of fear of being labeled difficult. Now ask yourself, did anything improve because you played small, or did things unravel anyway, just without your guiding hand? The world doesn't need a quieter you. It needs the real you, the one who walks in with a plan, a vision, and the courage to say, we can do better. Because when you bring that energy with love, not ego, transformation becomes inevitable. This is what alignment feels like. You no longer wait for permission to care deeply. You don't second guess your urge to fix, refine, and elevate. You accept that your eyes were made to see clearly, your hands were made to shape order, and your heart was made to believe that things can always rise higher. That belief alone makes you a force of divine change. And when you live from that belief, you don't just organize physical spaces, you organize destinies. So now, Virgo, it's time to make a decision. You've spent this whole journey being reminded of who you are, what you've been given, and how powerful your gift truly is. The question now isn't whether you have the gift, it's whether you're going to use it with the reverence it deserves. Because the truth is, you don't need another sign from the universe. You are the sign. Every detail you notice, every shift you sense, every imperfection you can't unsee, that's divine intelligence trying to move through you. Not to burden you, but to partner with you. What if your life became a living example of alignment? What if your space reflected your values? What if your work echoed your standards? What if your relationships matched your depth, your care, your intentionality? That's not some distant dream. That's what happens when you stop diluting your essence and start designing from it. You've been the support beam for so many people, the one who keeps it together, who solves, who holds space. But now it's your turn to let yourself rise, to let your dreams be valid, to say yes to the version of your life that reflects the same excellence you offer everyone else. You've waited long enough. You've earned the right to step forward, not just as a helper, not just as a fixer, but as a leader of frequency. And leadership starts with embodiment. Be the order you want to see. Be the calm in the chaos. Be the one who lives what others only talk about. And if this message stirred something in you, it's not a coincidence. It's confirmation. So I want to hear from you. In the comments below, share one thing you're finally ready to improve, not for others, but for yourself. Maybe it's a habit, a space in your home, a boundary in a relationship, or a dream you've been postponing. Put it out there. Give your transformation a voice. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. In upcoming videos, we'll talk more about how to protect your energy, honor your voice, and create lasting change from the inside out. Your gift wasn't just meant to be used, it was meant to be celebrated. And I see it in you. It's time the world does too. Remember, Virgo, your legacy isn't built in one grand moment. It's built in every decision to stay true to your nature. Every time you choose excellence over ease. Every time you speak up when silence would be more comfortable. That's the real work. That's the invisible leadership that shifts everything. You weren't born to blend into the noise. You were born to fine-tune the signal, to raise the frequency of whatever space you enter. So give yourself permission to keep seeing what others can't, to keep refining what others accept, and to keep building a life that feels like peace on the inside, not just order on the outside. Because when you do that, you don't just improve the world, you inspire it.